Nonsense. Yeah. Welcome back to episode 205 of Tall Boy Radio. Who knows where it goes when that there beer flows? Well, I shall tell you where it goes. Another one of our festive episodes. So if you remember last year, we played a little bit of Room 101. So it's a good opportunity for us to fall out over a few microphones. Gaza, how's your week been?
My week's been good, busy at work as always. So at this time of the year, it's sort of long term and getting up towards Christmas and stuff. So always busy, but really, really looking forward to it. So I think Room 101 is one of my sort of favourite episodes, really. It's one of the ones that we do year on year. And it'd just be interesting to see what people want to put in Room 101 and whether actually we all agree. Because as you know, folks, we have a little bit of a vote and somebody puts forward something for Room 101 and the other two guys agree or disagree. So yeah, looking forward to this.
Indeed. David, how have you been keeping?
I'm pretty good, actually. I had 2 days holiday, but spent most of that working. What's Room 101, by the way?
Room 101. Okay, so if you're familiar with George Orwell's novel 1984, then yeah, anything that went into Room 101 was never seen again. So we basically stole this idea off a TV show that used to be presented by Frank Skinner and probably other people since and probably before. And what we're going to do is we're going to select things that are going to go into Room 101 that are ne'er to be seen again. And I'm not going to lie, this beer that I'm drinking right now might just make it in there. It ain't a good one. Gee whiz. So then. We've got the concept. Who wants to kick it off?
Dave?
Yeah, all right. I'll go first. Okay.
All right. Something non-contentious like dogs like you tried last time.
Okay, well, I had very sound reasons.
Shit, cat.
And
cats.
On dogs, it was pretty close. Only lost 2-1, so I think it was almost done, wasn't it? A third of the votes. Why did you get rid of them? So,
yeah, you don't get a vote, so it was actually 2-0 against.
Oh, right. Okay, that's how it works, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Room 101. I would like to put into Room 101 Christmas presents.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Go with dogs again.
I wasn't expecting that. I'll be honest with you. You do realise that you are pitching this to possibly the person that loves Christmas the most in the whole world ever.
And me as well.
And Adam as well. Go on then, Dave. What's your rationale for bidding off Christmas presents then?
I think there's two main factors. One is the environmental damage. So, for example, I've just pulled up some stats. How many miles of wrapping paper do you think is used in the UK at Christmas time?
Oh, shitloads. Too many.
Just the UK. 40,000.
227,000 miles of wrapping paper.
I was just about to say that.
They're obviously not as good at it as me.
How many rolls of sellotape?
How many rolls of sellotape? Well, if I do it's literally 4 rolls per present to try and keep the paper in.
35,000.
Nowhere near. Go on, Ad.
335,000.
Nowhere near. Go on, Ad.
3.3 million.
40 million rolls of sellotape are used every Christmas in the UK, and all
40
of that.
million?
40 million rolls.
That's nearly 1 per person.
Shit.
Well, you've just said you used about 3 rolls for 1 present, so.
Yeah.
Well,
right, listen, I don't wrap.
I should have done the maths, really, shouldn't I? Yeah. Should have worked that out. 30,000 seems like a bit of a shit answer.
It doesn't seem very many, yeah.
That's just in the Beaners household.
Yeah, that's it.
How much money do you think is spent on unwanted gifts?
Unwanted. Oh dear. Now then. Unwanted surely has to be the gift for the ungrateful.
Absolutely.
Because surely the sentiment behind the present is what matters, not the gift itself. So how much money spent on unwanted presents?
It's probably
200 million.
1.2 billion.
Well, if you take pretty much in the middle of that, £700 million a year is spent on presents that nobody wants. And of that, what's the estimate of that in terms of money that goes straight into the landfill? It's not wanted. It's been bought, posted, wrapped, and it's pretty much going straight to landfill.
She says
50%.
So I don't know, $500 million.
42 million worth is still, it just goes straight to landfill.
Wow.
And a little stat of all the Christmas presents given at Christmas, what percentage are actually still being used 6 months later? Now, come on, you've got kids.
Yeah.
5%.
Oh, gee whiz.
5%.
Yeah, I would say probably 5% is a decent optimistic.
Do you think?
Yeah.
1%. They reckon
1%.
that 1% of stuff that's given at Christmas is still being used 6 months later. I'll give you one more stat. There's two parts for the reason. I'll give you one more stat. How much tons of plastic packaging are generated in the UK over Christmas?
Oh, I know myself. Like I will literally fill 2 wheeler bins, mine and Gazzy's, when he goes out.
That's just his empty beer bottles.
No room for beer bottles after yours.
Oh, good God. You're talking like thousands and thousands of tons. I couldn't even put a number on it. I don't know.
Any number.
200,000 tons.
Ooh, add.
I would say 200,001 tons.
125,000 tons of plastic packaging.
Wrong way. Get in.
So those stats show there's an absolutely huge environmental impact, and most of it is just pointless and wasted. And the second big reason to stop it is the pressure that it puts on families that don't have a lot of money, the peer pressure on kids, and all of that financial stress and aggravation that comes with keeping up with the Joneses if you're adults, and the kids and peer pressure. I think those two things together, just sack it off. Just get rid of it. If you want to treat friends and family, just do it bit by bit throughout the year. You don't need to bunch everything up into one massive event where you're buying stuff you don't need, you don't want. It's a waste of time, waste of money. Bin it.
Merry Christmas, folks.
Merry Christmas, folks. Yeah.
So what you're saying is, Dave, basically is a bit like the, I don't know, because you're always told you it's the gift of giving, and you never really should give to receive, and you never should give something then expect something back in return. And I know, and people do, and they go, oh well, I spent this on you, and you only spent that on me, and you're cheapskates or whatever. It's like, so I get that. I get there's the pressure. But is the joy of Christmas not like the kids and seeing their faces and buying into that whole Santa thing? And without the presents, would Christmas be the same without the presents?
Well, I tell you what. First of all, good evening, Paul Kelly of the Seismic Cinema Podcast, who's saying hello. But I think you've hit on something there, Gazza, and that's the thing. I was almost sort of seeing where you're coming from, but I think ultimately your issue, dude, is not with Christmas itself when they're giving a presents, but with commercialism and the commercialism of Christmas. I know it's a wonderful bit of marketing by Jack Daniels, where he says it's not what's under the tree, it's the people around it. And although, it's very, very clever marketing on their behalf, because they're still going to try and sell you one of their discounting bottles at Christmas.
Yeah.
I do think it's a good sentiment and it's a good thought.
No, I think you're right. And I think that the commercialization of it, and probably the last 30 years in particular, it's got a lot worse. But when I was a kid, I'm sure it wasn't like that. Some walnuts and a tangerine, that was your Christmas stocking. Now it's just full of plastic crap and knickknacks that you look at, your child smiles at, and it just gets lost behind a sofa and in a landfill 3 months later. Just we don't need it, do we? So I think there's somewhere in between, maybe. But I think in general, as I didn't start with somewhere in between, I started with binning it all. But think if you binned it all and you just got together, had fun, played games, enjoyed each other's company, goodwill to all, cooked some nice food. Do you need the presents? What for?
Do you know, dude? I'm almost on board with you at this point. I'm almost on board. But I do know those Christmases and the belief in Santa and what he can give you and give you as a child, and then watching him give to your children as well, that there is a little bit of magic in that. And it's that belief in something good. Yes, it's commercial, but that's been blown out of all proportion. You know what I mean? You speak to people and like you say, people will put themselves into debt for one day, and that's a troubling thought. And it is that
Yeah.
keeping up with the Joneses thing. And Facebook plays its own part in that. Something rotten done it. When you
Yeah.
see people just taking photographs of the piles of presents, they don't think that what they're doing, they might be pleased and they might have had to work incredibly hard. But there's somebody who hasn't got that opportunity and wishes they had a better credit rating that can do something like that. And that's without even knowing what's inside of them.
And I know, and I think you're right. And I'm a bit with Ad in terms, and I sort of agree with what you're saying, Dave, really, just in as much as, is it Christmas presents, or is it the fact that people take advantage of the gift of Christmas, if that makes sense? And is it the big business and big industry and all of that? And I can't think which company do it, but they do. Everybody gets a Christmas present. Basically, if you're buying one, buy an extra one, and then you take that and then they donate it to kids that aren't in a position to receive. And I can't for life remember which company it is, but and I sort of get that. I just can't get over the fact that the magic of Christmas is, yes, it's being together, and we've just early tonight we've sort of organised our big sort of family Christmas get together, and we have loads of family around, and it's a sort of Pickford tradition and this, that, and the other, and we've been doing it for God pretty much as long as I've been alive, sort of thing. And it's the best night of the year, and it's brilliant, and it's Christmas Eve, and everyone's together, and then you wake up Christmas, and it's like the magic. And if you've got younger kids, it's like the magic of Christmas, seeing them come down, open the presents, and go, "Oh my God, that was Santa," sort of thing. And without the presents, I just think that something would be missing. I take your point, Dave. Meet up, get together, have a lovely meal, have your turkey, have some drinks, play some games. 100%, I get that. But would there be something missing if you got rid of the presents and the exchange and the gifts in the morning?
Yeah, the gift shouldn't be a measure of your financial success throughout that year.
No.
It should be a little token just to say, dude, thinking of you, appreciate your friendship.
And actually, the best presents are the ones that you can tell that people have thought about. It's not the ones that the big extravagant, oh, I'll go and buy you a diamond this, or I'll go and get you a car. Not that we will get a car, but you buy cars or necklaces or whatever it may be. I think it's the small things that people think about, and it doesn't have to cost a lot, but it's the thought that goes behind the present that's the thing. So,
Should we vote?
Ooh,
Let me just say one last thing. Imagine it in the whole. It was a nationwide thing, and everybody adhered to it from next year. So first year might be a bit, but after that, no presents. So it's not some do, some don't. Just wiped out, gone. Everyone's in the same boat. Kids get up in the morning.
Before you
you get your kids get up in the morning, and it's like, right, kids, let's sit down and watch a film. That's what we're doing. Then we're going to have a bit of breakfast. Then we're going to play some games. Let's spend some time.
But we did that yesterday, Dad.
Yeah, it's a weekend.
We'll go and play with your birthday present.
You see, I think you've just blown it there.
Yeah,
I was with you up until that last closing statement. Now I think I might.
I know where you're coming from. If you'd have said commercialism at Christmas, I'd have been on board and I'd have jumped on it. But the idea of getting rid of all Christmas presents when you can actually make a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
When we had Anisha on from Unhoused, she spoke about buying gifts for, people will buy those gifts because they know that their family and friends are getting a nice hoodie, but so is a homeless person as well. So there's a way to do it where it doesn't have to cost the earth, literally, given those figures that you shared at the start. It doesn't need to cost you the earth either. So I do believe that there is something wholesome in Christmas presents. Yes, I don't like commercialism, but yeah, I believe I can't with all good conscience put them into Room 101.
I'm similar, and I take your sentiment, and in a way I agree with that. Get rid of the greed around Christmas for certain industries and businesses and this, and get rid of the commercial and the over commercial aspect of it. And I would have been on board, but to get rid of presents and the thought of Christmas without presents, I'm going to vote don't put it into room 101.
That's it. That's it, I'm afraid. It is not going into room 101. But while we say that, speaking of unwanted Christmas presents, there you guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bloody awful that beer is. Going on with that kind
pineapple
hot...
and grapefruit IPA. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I'll drink that later.
Yeah, give it a
Sprinkle it on your pizza.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Pineapple pizza room. Anyway, that's a different show.
You won't get my votes. Go on, Gaz, you can go next.
Right, so slightly contentious, not contentious. Do we go for the one that I think we both might have, or do I go for a different one?
Well, I think the rate we're going, there's a good chance you're going to get to say one. So I would pick the one that you want, irrespective. I have two that I'm
right.
to use.
I'm going to go, and I'm going to say vapes, because that is the absolute fudging bane on drain and whatever on society. I don't understand the point, right? And we go on about commercialism. Vape shops pop up and it's like, oh, lollipop flavor, vanilla flavor, and they're just enticing young kids to get hooked on vapes. And there's no reason for kids to get hooked on vapes, because the original concept of vapes was to wean people off nicotine. But that's so not what it is now. Now it's a social thing, and kids who would never have smoked nicotine in the first place now vape. So it's not a substitute for nicotine. It's just a social thing. And if we got rid of vapes, and I genuinely believe this, a lot of the vaping industry is unregulated still. So completely unregulated. You don't necessarily know the full extent of the substances that go into vapes. It might not be nicotine, but there are carcinogens that are still in vapes. And I genuinely think that in 30 years' time, if you got rid of vapes now today, in 30 years' time, on the assumption that the NHS is still here, you would save the NHS billions, and I'm not saying millions, billions of pounds, because actually I think the next great health scare or health thing will be youngsters when they turn 30, 35, 40 suffering from vape-related illness. You've got mouth ulcers, you've got sores, you've got cancers, you've got nasal issues. There's a whole raft of substances that go into vapes that people don't know. And all you need to think about is go back into the day where it was like 50s, 60s America or 60s, 70s America. Like, I'm the Marlboro man, and like, smoke Marlboro, it's cool, it's really good for you, it's hip, it's trendy, and everyone's like, whoa, now you think, shit, did you not realize it could give you cancer and kill you? And I genuinely think that this is going to be the case in 30 years' time, and people look back and go, what, you vaped? Did you not realize did you not know back then? And I genuinely think it will save the NHS loads of money, and it will benefit society. And I just think, from a social point of view, you walk down the street and it's like, I don't want to be smelling your bloody raspberry and your cookie dough vape and your vanilla vape and whatever else. And I don't want to actually, for that split second, think, shit, that guy's on fire, I need to put him out, because all you got plumes of smoke all over the place. So for me, vapes, get in the bin, don't need them. I don't understand why they're here, because they're just, it's another addiction that we're forcing onto young people that they would never have been addicted to in the first place. So I just get rid of.
Does it ever annoy you when you speak to people, they say, I've given up smoking? Oh, well done. Yeah, I'm vaping now.
Yeah, well,
you haven't given up smoking.
No, you just substitute one for another.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the point? And if you want to give up smoking, yes, it requires willpower, but you have patches, you have gum, you have other means and ways of weaning off. Not that I ever have been, and addicted to nicotine, but I just think there are other ways and means, and all you're doing when you vape is you're just substituting one for another.
Absolutely. Dave, any thoughts?
Well, I'm not so sure. It's an emerging market. It's giving a lot of people employment. There's freedom of choice in this. It's definitely less harmful than actually smoking. Generates a lot of tax revenues.
Is it less harmful than smoking? Do we know that?
It's less harmful than smoking cigarettes with nicotine in.
Do we know that? Well, has there been long-term studies done on that?
From what we know at the moment, it's less harmful, far less harmful.
Okay.
Mm. The one thing I pick up on there is, in terms of taxation, it certainly isn't taxed anywhere near as heavily as the tobacco industry. Now, I know your good friend of mine, Rishi Sunak, has said that he was going to push the age of smoking back a year every year to the point where nobody can smoke, which is a fantastic and noble thing to do, and it might be the way to solve the problem. Or he could just drive it underground and people get cheap fags that are probably even more hazardous to your health. But I'm not going to blame the man for trying. But the flip side of that was vaping was not included in that.
Mhm.
So, in other words, you were going to be encouraged to stop smoking, but you can then start vaping instead. And I know you're saying right now the evidence is that vaping is less harmful for your health than smoking, because we know the dangers of smoking, but I just don't think enough is known about the manufacture. I don't think it's regulated heavily enough so that we know exactly the quality of the stuff that people are taking in. And I would, you know what I mean? It makes me nervous. My kids are 6 and 4 now, so they're not at that age yet. But at some point, they're going to hit high school, and all the cool kids are going to be blown into what looks like an alcohol test.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got my doubts on this one, Dave. I've got, in terms of, we jotted down a few, and I also had vaping to add in. So, it was a bit of a precursor for before we vote. I don't know if you can put any other strong arguments for or against.
No, I was just in vain trying to be devil's advocate. But that's absolutely disgusting, and the amount of lithium that's in the batteries and the environmental impact is huge. Never mind the damage to people, and it's just absolutely disgraceful. And the one we have in our local town, it looks like something from a fairground, and it's beyond me how people can open. I know the guys, I'm sure, or woman, whoever owns it, I'm sure they're trying to make a living. But actually, the council, those authorities shouldn't allow shops because there's no benefit to our town from that shop.
I just think, and the whole market has just exploded because initially it was, as I say, it was not an anti-smoking, but it was a way of weaning off nicotine. And you just have to look at the number of kids, and I'll say kids, but it could be 30-year-olds as well. There's people that I know that have never smoked but now vape. It's like, what's all that about?
Yeah.
It's like, so you haven't started vaping to wean yourself off nicotine. You've just made a choice just to start vaping. Why? Why would you do that?
It's a strange decision.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Shall we take a vote, David?
Yeah, it's definitely going in room 101.
There we go. There we go. So vaping, room 101. Okie dokie. So I'll put mine forward now. So it's certainly not as contentious as David's dogs or Christmas presents. However, it's not so much cats, but the lack of accountability for cats. Okay. Yeah. I haven't got a problem with the animal itself. Well, I have actually, because there's a couple.
You hate them.
Yeah. Well, I do. Yeah. There's a couple specifically that get on my furniture, climb in the back garden, that is, climb underneath and leave cat hair all over it. And they're long-haired cats, and it makes a bloody mess. And I hate those cats. I have looked into the viability of shooting them with an air rifle. I would probably never do it, folks, in all likelihood. I am an animal lover, and 6 days out of 7 I eat vegetarian food, so I would suggest it's not something I would actually do. However, they do annoy the piss out of me. But when you think about it, okay, so if your dog is out in the street and it attacks another dog, it's going to get itself put down. You know what I mean? If it savages another dog, there's accountability for that. If your cat, if everybody's had cats or owned cats will know, sometimes they'll come home and they've had the shit kicked out of them by another cat, and you just think, where's the accountability? Who's going to pick up those vet bills? We don't know the cat who's responsible. It's an absolute nightmare. And I tell you what else. There's dog shit bins. Where's the cat shit bins? You know what I mean? I've had cat shitting in my garden, burying shit in my garden. I don't do it in your garden. Don't do it in mine. I don't agree with it. And there is absolutely no accountability for it.
Do you know what I think you should do? Find out who the owner of that cat is that's shitting in your garden, and actually just go shit in their garden.
Well, I probably could work it out, but to be fair, there's a lot of Ring doorbells. I don't want that footage shared on the internet.
I take your point, and if a dog shits in public, then the owner is like 2 yards away and scoops it up with a plastic bag and bins it or disposes of it, or should do. But if a cat shits in public, to be fair, it probably then covers it up so you can't see it. But yeah,
I mean, your kids are then digging in the garden. You know what I mean? It's grim. And then what did they do? They wander around in roads, getting run over, getting upset, upsetting everybody. I do have a funny story about a cat getting run over, actually.
Really?
It's quite humorous. So I had a fellow who used to work for me, and he was a bit of a character. So I was in my office. This is when I worked in retail. And this guy went wandering past the door. He was a baker. And he went wandering past my office door with a shovel and a bin bag in his hand. And I was like, just out of interest, what are you doing? He goes, well, just to let you know, there's a cat outside. It's been run over right outside the front door. It's in the road. I'm going to move it. People don't want to be seeing that. Oh, yeah, fair play, dude. Well, it's not something I want to be seeing. So anyway, finished up what I was doing in the office, went out onto the shop floor. Woman comes up to me and goes, did you know there's a dead cat sticking out of a bin bag on the glass verge side? I was like, is there? So I called this guy. I said, what's going on? He goes, well, I just wondered. I thought if the owner wants to come and pick it up, I'll put it in with the bag, and I left the head sticking out just so that they could recognize it. I was like, go and get it shifted now. Okay. Yeah, nice idea.
Appreciate your sentiment.
See where you're coming from, yeah. So I thought nothing of it. 5 minutes later, again, a guy comes up to you. It's a dead cat in a bin bag in your car park. Oh,
and this could go on all day.
Yeah, it's like, just go and put it in the bin. It's game over. It's dead.
So I got two questions. First one is, you said you don't seem to like cats too much, and you said you're a vegetarian 6 days out of 7. What do you eat on day 7? Is it cats?
Never cats. Never cats.
Okay. And what's going in room 101? The lack of accountability of cats, or the owners for not taking accountability for their cats?
I would say it's the lack of accountability from owners. So not specifically owners, because they love these animals. I have no problem with that. Cats perform a function. You know, we have a number of cats on this estate, and we've got fields behind us. Yeah, I know for a fact, I've had mice in my garden, that you get mice, and no doubt these little fellas will be catching them up and eating them up and keeping the mice away from our property. So I get that they serve a purpose. It's the, you know, and I don't hate cats, really. I do hate the one that bit me that time, and I had to have a tetanus shot, but that's a story for another day. But it's the lack of accountability for them. They're allowed to go on being bastards, and there's just no accountability for them.
So if there was a bit of a get together and we were around the close, or we're having a you know, and one of your neighbours' dogs come and shit on your garden, and your neighbour was there, they'd come over with a plastic bag, you hope, and clean it up.
Yeah, they would. I would say 9 times out of 10 of that.
If one of the owner's cats come over and shit on your garden, would they come over and clean it up?
No, I don't think so.
And that's your point.
That's my beef, is that nobody takes account for them. When they're fighting outside in the street, and the cats are territorial, I get they can't be domesticated in the same way that dogs can. They are territorial, and they're violent, and they are fighting off their territory. However, you don't know when you get your cat back and it's missing an eye, or its tail's been half chewed off. You know, I mean, they get you. I've seen them outside here, two against one. You know what I mean? It was like an episode of Come At Me, bro. And
later, dude. Later.
But it's like somebody's going to have to pick up the vet bills. That cat has had its ass handed to it, literally. You know what I mean? Who picks up that vet bill? Because I can tell you, they ain't cheap.
Yeah, but they might have had his ass handed to it, but cats are great at licking their ass and then coming over and licking you.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a selling point, Dave.
It wasn't meant to be.
Right. I'm going to say, okay, no to cats going in room 101, because I don't like cats, but I appreciate lots of people might. I might be with you there, dude. The accountability, I'm with you. I think you're probably right. I think there's a different accountability for cats and dogs, because I think what cat owners will say is, oh, cats are independent, they can look after themselves, whereas you need to look after a dog because it shits everywhere and eats everything and pisses everywhere and all that sort of stuff. So whereas people will say with cats is, oh no, they look after themselves, they can feed themselves, you know, they can go hunt and they can feed themselves, and they shit wherever they want to shit, but then they cover it up in the garden and this, that, and the other. So yeah, I'm with you, dude, I think.
Cheers. And hello to Stuart Willis, by the way, who I believe is a cat owner.
Stuart, does your cat shit everywhere? just a question.
Do you take accountability for your cat?
Take accountability for your cat?
I might have made that up. He might not have a cat.
He'll soon let us know.
Yeah. Dave?
You can just put the whole cat. They can join the dogs. Get them in there. Account of it.
Oh, I forgot Dave's an animal lover, isn't he? I forgot about it.
Yeah, it was a surefire win.
There's nothing good about them. Bin them.
No. Well, funnily enough, when you say bin 'em, right? Okay, this is another store that I was at. Okay, somebody set fire to a bin.
Did it shit everywhere, Stuart? Thanks very much.
Yeah. Tell us about your cat's toilet.
Tell us about your cat's toilet habits.
Yeah. somebody. Now, someone has set fire to a wheelie bin outside one of my shops. Okay, a different shop this morning. We're pleased to hear, and you know they all
worked in a nice place.
Yeah, another lovely part of Cheshire that I found myself working in, and yeah, there was a cat inside it. The cat was dead, but they'd done it because they couldn't. Again, going back to what Dave says about affording stuff, they couldn't afford to pay for the funerary costs or having it destroyed or dealt with. So they put a cat in the bin. So I went outside to clean it up. There's a and it was cooked. It was hairless, cooked cat in the middle of the bin. Delicious.
I was waiting for that. I'm glad to hear it, Stuart. I'm glad to hear it.
That's it. So we're around about the half-hour mark, which is what we're doing. We're keeping it, so we've only got one each, unless we want a quick fire round. You make a quick statement and we get a yes, no. Are you comfortable with that one?
Yeah, I'm going to go first.
Go for it.
Checkbooks. What's the fucking point? Nobody uses them. Bin them off. Put them in room 101.
I think they pretty much have been binned off, haven't they?
Have they officially?
I ain't got one.
I haven't I haven't used a check, written a check, but I have received a check about 12 months ago.
I have
so there you
received
go.
checks. Yeah, I've
Bin 'em
received checks, but no,
old people used to, you know, they still say
bin them off as well.
Bin them off. Bin them off. But yeah, old people like for Christmas, the time of giving, write him a check to Mr. G Pickford, and it's like, £20. No, just backs it me, dude. Just like sending me checkbooks, bin them off, waste of time.
Well, you can pay in a check on your banking app now. You just scan it in.
What's the point?
No, this should have been just a quick yes, no.
Bin 'em.
Yeah, I'm with bin 'em as well. Dave?
When you get a text message with a delivery time slot that says anytime between 9 and 6, what's that about?
Infuriating. Absolutely infuriating.
Can you narrow that down? Yes, it's between 9 and 6. Fucking thanks very much.
Right, yeah. It's good because that's why I plan for my day, sitting around waiting for you to turn up. Because it's never 9 o'clock, is it? It's always near 6.
Yeah, but the one time that you want it near 6 is 9 o'clock. Yeah, fucking, I missed it.
That's it, yeah. Well, you're cleaning the cat shit out the back garden. Yeah, I'm up for binning that one. Right, nice simple one. The political system we have in this country is not fit for purpose. It needs binning off and replacing with something that is fairer and is more representative of us good, honest folks.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No, I don't.
What it looks like, I don't know, and that's a whole different debate and a whole different episode. I do think there needs to be an overhaul in our political system.
Well, we'll hold that thought. We'll hold that point of debate because when we do our election special, we'll have a solid 8 hours debating that one.
And it's live.
We are going to go live. It won't be 8 hours. It won't be 8 hours, but we'll do something. We'll do something special for that, folks. Don't you worry. So that brings us to the episode, end of the episode, rather, of Room 101. Have you enjoyed it?
Loved it.
Yeah,
indeed.
It's so we always get to do away with a few pets every time, so that's always good.
We do, yeah. We're the polar opposite of Noah.
Yeah, budgerigars and parrots are next year, guys. So what's the point?
Yeah. That's it, yeah. Fuck your chinchilla.
Well,
if that's what you want to do.
I'm joking. I love those little rascals. So, did you want to say your goodbyes, Gazza?
Yeah. Look, Merry Christmas, everybody, and I genuinely hope that over the festive period, you get to spend time with loved ones and family, and you get to enjoy. Sometimes just reflect what the meaning of Christmas is, and if that is giving and receiving a presents, and that's what you do, then so be it. But as always, just pay a thought to those that perhaps aren't in as fortunate a position as you are, and maybe those people that are struggling at Christmas.
Indeed. Dave?
Yeah, and I think that essentially, if you see a stray cat, take it in and give it away as a Christmas present.
Good idea.
Like it.
Yeah, to a known animal abuser. That's a joke. Oh, Lord, this one's got out of hand already. So, folks, I will wish you all a fond farewell. I'll catch you a few short moments for Come On Me Bro.